welcome to Zoominsight with another interesting story. Before start, subscribe to the channel for upcoming videos. The grand stage of the Lyric Theater was bathed in soft amber light, the air thick with anticipation. The room buzzed with the chatter of an eager audience, their faces turned toward the stage where the world-renowned illusionist Victor Vayne prepared for his climactic performance. Victor, a tall man with piercing blue eyes and a reputation for the extraordinary, had been the talk of the town for months. His signature tricks, a blend of art, deception, and storytelling, had captivated millions. But tonight, he promised something unprecedented. A trick so daring, so impossible, it would redefine the art of illusion. He called it the Vanishing Point. As the orchestra played its final notes, Victor stepped into the spotlight, dressed in a sleek black suit that shimmered under the stage lights. He extended his arms, a charismatic smile curling his lips. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice smooth and confident, "tonight you will witness the impossible. Tonight I will vanish and leave no trace." The audience erupted into applause. Behind him, a complex contraption stood, an array of mirrors, smoke machines, and hidden compartments. It was a marvel of engineering, designed to mystify even the keenest observer. Victor motioned to his assistant, Clara, a petite woman with sharp features and an air of mystery herself. She handed him a black top hat and stepped back into the shadows. "Watch closely," Victor said, his eyes scanning the crowd. "This is not just a trick, it's a journey." The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the room. Smoke began to pour from the stage, enveloping Victor in an ethereal mist. He raised the hat, placing it on his head, and then, in a flash of light, he was gone. The crowd gasped. The stage was empty. The mirrors reflected nothing but darkness. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the theater. Howling cries revealed as the scream cut through the air. A spotlight swung wildly, illuminating the balcony where a woman stood, trembling and pointing toward the stage. Security rushed to calm the crowd, as murmurs of confusion turned to fear. Backstage, Clara's face was pale as she scanned the area for Victor. He wasn't in his usual hiding spot. The trick, meticulously rehearsed for months, had never included this twist. "Victor," she called out, her voice quivering, "this isn't funny." She pushed past a curtain and froze. On the floor lay a pool of blood, stark against the polished wood. Beside it was a piece of paper, folded neatly and marked with a crimson V. Clara's hands trembled as she unfolded the note. The message was brief. "Now you see me, now you don't." Her breath hitched. She shoved the note into her pocket as police officers stormed backstage, their radios crackling with orders. Among them was Detective Elena Cruz, a sharp-eyed investigator known for her unrelenting determination. "Everyone out," Elena commanded, her tone leaving no room for argument. "This is a crime scene." Clara hesitated, clutching the note in her pocket. She wanted to speak up but knew better. The show had barely begun, and she sensed the danger wasn't over. By morning, the theater was cordoned off, swarming with forensic teams. Victor Vayne's disappearance made headlines worldwide. Theories ranged from a publicity stunt gone wrong to foul play. But Elena knew better. The blood on the stage was real, and so was the fear in Clara's eyes. "You were his assistant," Elena said, sitting across from Clara in a dimly lit interrogation room. "Tell me everything." Clara hesitated, her fingers twisting a silver bracelet around her wrist. "Victor was secretive," she began, even with me. He wouldn't explain the full trick, just my part in it, but last week he seemed nervous, like someone was watching him. Did he mention any threats? Elena pressed. Clara shook her head. Not directly, but he'd been receiving strange letters. He'd laugh them off, but I could tell they bothered him. What kind of letters? Clara hesitated, then pulled the blood-stained note from her pocket. Elena's eyes narrowed as she read it. Well, didn't you turn this over sooner? I didn't know who to trust, Clara admitted. Elena's gaze softened slightly. We'll need to analyze this. In the meantime, don't leave town. As Clara left the station, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. A shadow moved in the alley across the street, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Days turned into weeks, and Victor's disappearance remained unsolved. The case grew colder, but Elena refused to let it go. Late one night, she reviewed footage from the theater's security cameras. Something caught her eye, a figure slipping into the backstage area moments before the performance. Elena confronted Clara the next morning. You lied to me, she accused, slamming a photo of the footage onto the table. I didn't lie, Clara shot back. I went backstage to check the setup. I wasn't alone. Victor's old rival, Anton Marlowe, was there. He threatened him. Elena's eyebrows shot up. Why didn't you say this before? Because Anton is dangerous, Clara whispered, and he has connections everywhere. Elena wasted no time tracking down Anton. The former illusionist, known for his bitter feud with Victor, had retired years ago. When Elena arrived at his secluded mansion, he greeted her with a smirk. Detective, he said smoothly, to what do I owe the pleasure? Where were you the night Victor Vayne disappeared? Elena demanded. Anton's smile widened. At home, enjoying the show on television. Such a shame about Victor, though. He always did have a flair for drama. His alibi checked out, but Elena's gut told her he was hiding something. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. A forensic analysis of the blood on the stage revealed it wasn't Victor's. It belonged to an unidentified male, raising more questions than answers. Meanwhile, Clara received a package at her apartment. Inside was a VHS tape labeled "For Your Eyes Only." Against her better judgment, she played it. The grainy footage showed Victor, alive, but bound to a chair in a dark room. Clara, his voice rasped. Trust no one. The vanishing point wasn't just a trick. It was a message. Find the ledger. The screen went black. Clara's hands shook as she called Elena. I have proof Victor's alive, she said, and I think I know where he is. Elena and Clara worked together, tracing the clues to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Inside, they found a hidden passage leading to a makeshift studio. There, Victor sat, weak but alive. You found me, he whispered, his face pale but relieved. Before they could celebrate, a sound of footsteps echoed through the room. Anton emerged from the shadows, a gun in hand. I told you to stay out of it, Clara, he growled. Elena drew her weapon, a tense standoff ensuing. It's over, Anton, she said. We know about the ledger. Anton's expression darkened. That ledger contained secrets that could ruin powerful people. Victor was supposed to deliver it to me, but he got cold feet. In a sudden move, Victor triggered a hidden mechanism, dropping a heavy curtain between them and Anton. The distraction gave Elena enough time to subdue him. With Anton in custody, the ledger... A detailed account of high-profile corruption was turned over to the authorities. Victor's daring escape and the story of the vanishing point became legend. As for Clara, she left the stage behind, choosing a quieter life far from the spotlight. But every so often, she'd catch herself glancing at her bracelet, a reminder of the night she helped solve the greatest illusion of all. Victor, ever the showman, disappeared from the public eye. Some say he retired, while others believe he's still out there, crafting the next great mystery. After all, for Victor Vayne, the world was his stage, and the show never truly ended. For more interesting stories, hit the subscribe button and bell icon.